This is my super aggressive Robot Lorraine deck. I had a new baby, so I can't think. If you're the kind of person who also can't think, this deck is for you. We're going with Wind Lorraine because Wind has a lot of search cards and the best automations. Backup Charger is super needed for one-turn kill deck that uses automations. We need the power cell that comes with the extra card. Smoke Bombs lets us get through annoying interceptors and taunters. Really, I just use it for extra draw power, like Grand Crusader's Ring that's also in here. We have a basic sword engine here. We're an aggro deck, we don't need any more swords than this. I don't care if you're against a wind or water player with a handful of cards. If you have a big combo, don't wait for a clearance to get out. Just go for it. Your opponent's either going to have the answer or they're not going to. Viridian prevents water from stopping us if things go to the mid game. The last thing we want is for our double attack to get negated. Terraforming also helps us against allies if things go longer than expected. Now for the main deck. Rallied Advance and Second Wind allows us to wake a rested ally. We can use a power cell and an invictive instruction to give an ally an attack boost until the end of turn. With Ornamental Greatsword and one power cell, Shimmercloak Assassin hits for 5. With a double attack card, you can do up to 12 damage on your second turn. It's possible to have invictive instruction and have enough to pay for it. This brings Shimmer to 8 damage, meaning you'll most likely hit for game with a whopping 18 damage on just turn 2. I have other automations in here for various roles. There's Defense with Rose and Eternal Magistrate. Charged Mannequin is a cheap automation drop at 2 cost. Cell Converter helps us with our win condition, and he can use his floating memory for smoke bombs or possibly Clarent Reimagined. Andronica is a nice support card and becomes a powerful 3/3 with her effect and using one of her buff counters she hands out on herself. It's important to understand that any of these automations can be used for your power cell combos, and you shouldn't hesitate to do so. Fairy Whispers, Windmill Engineer, Manufacture Cell, and Parset help draw or glimpse. You might be tempted to play Manufacture Cell on your first turn after playing Shimmercloak. Save it for your opponent's turn. Try to bait out an opponent's negate card or ally destruction card with it. We want those out of the way. Parson is a great way to protect an automation. We want to keep at least one on the field at all times. We have an explosive deck and we can get unexpected heavy damage cards at any time. Favorable Winds and Blanche can protect our automations. Fire decks will try to ping allies with burn effects, but you'd be surprised how well Favorable Winds can protect them. Blanche doesn't only guard allies, but the champion too. If you're Lorraine, you can protect Blanche with Clarinet and Reimagine for a nice lock. Bonus points if you have Parsnet. I cannot imagine making a wind deck without Dream Fairy. Dak Cow, Cinderbinder can lock this deck without her. She can also get rid of annoying interceptors and taunters. Unbroken Mustang gets rid of Art of War, which can really screw this deck. We don't play Zephyr, so these two allies are our only source of removal. Finally, we have Veiling Breeze. If there's one card to consider changing, it's this one. Nullifying Mirror can completely screw this deck over. I'll be making a video on why I made this choice later. Don't be afraid to keep bailing in though. The fact it stops both combat and non-combat damage can make it worth the risk of getting countered. If there's anything about my deck I don't like, it's my side. We have Scatter Essence, which is fine because we can use this floating memory to draw a card off smoke bombs. I never really found myself wanting to slide in Stifling Trap. The copies of Veiling Breeze and Favorable Winds were fine. Tempest Downfall is there for Jin, as well as anything that likes to use Lunette. I always find I don't have time to bring out Nullifying Lantern against fire decks, but there's no harm swapping it for a Protective Trinket in that matchup, so I'm going to leave a complete deck list up, so feel free to pause the video if you want to see it. I'm going to talk from the hip to spitball ideas, changes, and substitutes so the suggestion window doesn't cover up the deck list. Make sure to subscribe. Honestly, in terms of like the newer command cards, there is the one like Effect Negate, but I kind of like running Blanche over that because the problem is if you're against Fractals, you can deal, like the Fractals has a lot of negate cards later on that are just like impossible to pay for. But if you already have Blanche on the field, you know, it's kind of like a check. They have to bring out something to kill the Blanche. They cannot possibly, I couldn't even consider them leaving Blanche alone. Invigorate Agility, you could run over Veiling Breeze. I really like having access to Clarent, even against decks that don't normally have effect damage. You never know. For example, I was playing my friend. He actually played Smokeout, I think, against Blanche, and I was like, oh, geez, okay, well, good thing I have Reimagined out to keep it alive. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I think this is enough talking, so YouTube won't cover up the thing. If you listen this far, I mean, say Ooga Booga in the comments or something. I don't know. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.